In the rain-soaked shadows of Portland's Old Town, where the city's pulse drowned out the cries of the forgotten, a homeless man's chance discovery would light a spark that changed his life forever. Marcus Tate, a man broken by loss but clinging to hope, stumbled upon a diamond glinting in the gutter, a treasure that promised wealth but demanded courage. As word of his find spread, the city watched, waiting to see if fortune would lift him up or tear him down. In a tale of redemption that would shine brighter than any gem, the rain fell in sheets over Portland, Oregon, on July 17, 2025, turning the streets of Old Town into a maze of puddles and neon reflections. Marcus Tate, 42, huddled under a tarp in an alley near Burnside Street, his worn coat soaked through. His graying beard and tired eyes told a story of loss. Once a carpenter with a family, he'd spiraled into homelessness after a car accident took his wife, Lena, and left him with debts he couldn't pay. Now, he survived on odd jobs and the kindness of strangers, his only companion a battered journal where he sketched memories of better days. Marcus was scavenging near a dumpster behind a jewelry store, hoping for scraps or recyclables when something caught his eye. In the gutter, half buried in mud, a small, glittering object winked under the streetlight. He knelt, his fingers trembling as he brushed away the grime. It was a diamond raw, uncut, the size of a grape, its facets catching the light like a tiny star. Marcus's breath hitched. He'd worked with tools, not gems, but he knew this was no ordinary find. Tucking the diamond into his pocket, Marcus shuffled to the Rose City shelter where he sometimes slept. In the dim common room, he showed the stone to Clara, a volunteer, who'd always been kind to him. "Is this real?" he asked, his voice low, as if speaking too loudly might make it vanish. Clara's eyes widened. "Marcus, that looks like a raw diamond. Where'd you find it?" He told her about the alley and she urged caution. "Take it to a jeweler, but be careful. Something like this could bring trouble." The next morning, Marcus walked to Goldman's Jewelers, a small shop in the Pearl District. The bell jingled as he entered, his muddy boots out of place among the polished display cases. The owner, Mr. Goldman, a wiry man with thick glasses, peered at Marcus skeptically. "What do you want?" he asked, his tone sharp. Marcus hesitated, then placed the diamond on the counter. "Found this? Is it worth anything?" Goldman's skepticism vanished as he examined the stone with a loupe. This is a rough diamond, high clarity, maybe 10 carats, he said, his voice hushed. "Could be worth $50,000, maybe more." "Once cut," he looked at Marcus, his eyes narrowing. "Where'd you get this?" "Found it in an alley," Marcus said, his voice steady. "It's mine, fair and square." Goldman offered to buy it for $10,000, claiming processing fees. Marcus, sensing a scam, shook his head. "I'll get it appraised elsewhere." He pocketed the diamond and left, Goldman's frustrated glare following him. Word spread fast in Old Town. By noon, Marcus's find was the talk of the streets. A local reporter, Mia Chun, overheard whispers at a coffee shop and tracked him down at the shelter. "I'm with Portland Pulse," she said, her recorder ready. "Can I tell your story?" Marcus, wary but hopeful, agreed. He wanted the diamond to mean something, not just money, but a chance to rebuild. Mia's article, "Homeless Man's Diamond Discovery Shocks Portland," went viral on X, trending with hashtag #PortlandDiamond. Offers poured in jewelers, collectors, even a shady figure who cornered Marcus outside the shelter, offering cash and veiled threats. "You don't want trouble, do you?" the man said, his hand on Marcus's shoulder. Marcus pulled away, fear mixing with resolve. He remembered Lena's voice, urging him to keep going after her death. He took the diamond to a reputable appraiser recommended by Clara, who confirmed its value at $60,000. "Sell it through an auction house," the appraiser advised. "You'll get a fair price," but temptation loomed. A local barfly, Tommy, offered Marcus a quick $20,000, no questions asked. "You could eat for years," Tommy said, his breath sour with whiskey. Marcus nearly agreed, his stomach growling, but Clara's words echoed, "Be careful." He declined, determined to do this right. Marcus contacted an auction house in Seattle, which agreed to sell the diamond with a 10% commission. Mia's article had drawn attention, and the auction, live-streamed on July 24, 2025, attracted bidders from across the country. Marcus, dressed in a borrowed suit from the shelter's donation, Vin sat in the back, his heart pounding. Clara and Mia were there, cheering him on. The diamond, now cleaned and certified, sparkled under the auctioneer's lights. Bidding started at $20,000 and climbed fast. A tech mogul from Silicon Valley won it for $75,000, and after fees, Marcus's share was $67,500. He stared at the check, his hands shaking. It was more money than he'd seen in a lifetime, but wealth brought scrutiny. Reporters swarmed, asking if he'd squander it. A few locals at the shelter whispered he didn't deserve it. Marcus, overwhelmed, turned to Clara. "I don't want to lose myself," he said. She squeezed his hand. "You won't. Use it to honor Lena." Marcus moved into a modest apartment in Northeast Portland, paying a year's rent up front. He enrolled in a carpentry apprenticeship, rekindling his old skills, but the diamond's true gift was his vision for others. Inspired by Lena's kindness, he donated $10,000 to the Rose City Shelter, funding a job training program for the homeless. He named it Lena's Light, a beacon for those lost in the dark. Mia's follow-up story, From Diamond to Dreams, Homeless. Man's journey went viral, inspiring donations to the shelter. Marcus volunteered, teaching woodworking to residents. His journal now filled with sketches of hope, houses, futures, second chances. One evening, as he walked through Old Town, the rain lighter now, he passed the alley where he'd found the diamond. He smiled, feeling Lena's presence dot in Portland's ever-drizzling streets. Marcus Tate rose from the shadows, not just rich in wealth, but in purpose. The diamond had been his spark, but his heart-scarred, resilient kind became his true treasure.